In the heart of the sprawling Appalachian Mountains lies a forgotten town known as Whispering Pines. Nestled among the towering trees and mist-shrouded valleys, it is a place where time seems to stand still, and the line between reality and myth begins to blur. It was on a moonless night that I found myself drawn to Whispering Pines, lured by tales of its haunted past and the promise of untold secrets hidden within its shadowy depths. As I made my way through the winding mountain roads, a sense of foreboding settled over me like a heavy blanket, suffocating and oppressive. Upon my arrival, I was greeted by the eerie silence of the town, broken only by the rustling of leaves and the chilly night breeze. The streets were deserted, the buildings crumbling and decayed, as if frozen in time. It was as though the very soul of Whispering Pines had been consumed by the darkness that lurked within its boundaries. Determined to uncover the truth behind the town's dark past, I ventured deeper into its labyrinthine streets, my senses heightened by the palpable sense of dread that hung in the air like a thick fog. Shadows danced along the walls of dilapidated buildings, whispering secrets long forgotten to the winds. As I wandered through the deserted streets, I stumbled upon an old, abandoned mansion nestled at the edge of town. Its windows were shattered, its walls covered in ivy and moss, and a sense of unease washed over me like a wave crashing against the shore. With trembling hands, I pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside, the air thick with the scent of decay and mildew. The interior was shrouded in darkness, illuminated only by the faint glow of moonlight filtering through the boarded-up windows. As I explored the mansion's crumbling corridors and decaying halls, I felt as though I were being watched by unseen eyes, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. Strange noises echoed through the empty rooms, whispers carried on the wind, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce. And then, as I reached the heart of the mansion, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber concealed behind a rotting tapestry. Inside, I found a collection of ancient artifacts and forbidden tomes, their pages yellowed with age and bound in human skin. It was then that I realized the true nature of Whispering Pines and the dark forces that dwelled within its walls. With a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, I knew that I had uncovered something far more sinister than I had ever imagined. And as I fled the mansion and the cursed town behind me, I couldn't shake the feeling that Whispering Pines would haunt me forever, its secrets eternally shrouded in darkness. The next day, I decided to return to Whispering Pines, driven by an insatiable curiosity to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden within its shadowy depths. As I made my way back to the town, a sense of unease gnawed at the edges of my mind, but I pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. As I wandered through the deserted streets, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, the shadows shifting and twisting around me like malevolent spirits. But I pushed aside my fear and continued on, my heart pounding in my chest. Suddenly, I stumbled upon a hidden path leading into the heart of the forest, its entrance obscured by tangled vines and thorny bushes. With a sense of trepidation, I pushed my way through the undergrowth, the branches scratching at my skin as I went. As I ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with an oppressive sense of dread, the trees towering above me like silent sentinels. Strange noises echoed through the undergrowth, whispers carried on the wind, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being led further and further into darkness. And then, as I reached a clearing bathed in moonlight, I stumbled upon a sight that chilled me to the bone. Before me stood a circle of ancient stones, their surfaces etched with strange symbols and runes. In the center of the circle lay a dark, swirling vortex, its depths swallowing the light around it. With a sense of growing horror, I realized that I had stumbled upon a gateway to another realm, a realm of darkness and despair. And as I stood frozen in terror, I knew that I had uncovered something far more sinister than I had ever imagined. But before I could flee, a cold voice echoed through the clearing, sending shivers down my spine. "Welcome, traveler," it said, its words dripping with malice. "You have stumbled upon the gateway to the underworld, and now you must pay the price." With a sense of growing dread, I turned and fled into the night, the sound of my own footsteps echoing like a death knell in the darkness. But no matter how fast I ran, the sense of dread followed me like a shadow. constant reminder of the horrors that lurked within the heart of Whispering Pines. Alcatraz Island Prison, nestled in the heart of California's San Francisco Bay, stands as an ominous sentinel of the past. Its crumbling walls and desolate corridors whisper tales of despair and anguish, earning it the title of the most haunted place in the United States. And it was within these forbidding confines that my journey into the realm of the supernatural began. My name is undisclosed, but among the inmates, I am known as Juggalo. My days were spent in the shadow of Alcatraz, confined within its grim walls alongside some of the most notorious criminals in history. From the moment I set foot on the rocky shores of the island, I could sense an otherworldly presence lingering in the air, a feeling of unease that seemed to seep into my bones with each passing day. Alcatraz was no ordinary prison. It was a fortress of solitude, a place where the most dangerous criminals were banished from society's gaze. Men like Al Capone and Machine Gun Kelly roamed its corridors, their names whispered in hushed tones by both inmates and guards alike. Escape from Alcatraz was considered a fool's errand. The icy waters of the Pacific Ocean surrounded the island, making any attempt at freedom a perilous endeavor. Yet, despite the odds, some dared to dream of breaking free from the clutches of their captivity. Within the confines of Alcatraz, there existed a place known as D-Block, or the Hole. Reserved for the most severe offenders of the prison rules, it was a place of darkness and despair. And it was here that my own brush with the supernatural occurred. One fateful night, after a particularly heated altercation with a fellow inmate, I found myself confined to the depths of D-Block. The cell was small and suffocating, its walls closing in around me like the jaws of a beast. As I lay there in the darkness, the air thick with the stench of fear and desperation, I saw something that would haunt me for the rest of my days. A figure shrouded in darkness stood before me with eyes that burned like embers in the night. I could feel its malevolent gaze piercing through me, sending shivers down my spine. Terrified, I called out for help, but my cries went unanswered. The guards, accustomed to my reputation as a troublemaker, simply laughed off my distress. But the figure in the darkness was no mere hallucination. It was a specter, a ghostly presence that had taken residence within the walls of Alcatraz. And as I lay there, defenseless and alone, it descended upon me with a fury unlike anything I had ever known. I felt its icy touch upon my skin, its whispers echoing in the recesses of my mind. It tormented me, driving me to the brink of madness with its relentless assault. When the guards finally came to investigate, they found me battered and bruised, my body covered in unexplained scratches and bruises. To this day, the events of that night remain etched in my memory, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks within the depths of Alcatraz. For in that prison of stone and steel, I came face to face with the shadows of the past and the horrors that lie beyond the realm of the living. In the heart of the Black Forest, where ancient trees loom tall and shadows dance with the whispers of forgotten spirits, lies a darkness that beckons the curious and dares the brave. It was here, amidst the gnarled branches and winding paths, that the tale of terror begins. The forest had always been a place of mystery, its depths concealing secrets older than time itself. Yet for adventurous souls like Emily, the allure of the unknown was irresistible. With a backpack slung over her shoulder and a map in hand, she ventured forth into the darkness, her footsteps echoing softly against the forest floor. As the twilight deepened and the canopy above grew denser, Emily felt the weight of the forest pressing down upon her. Shadows flickered at the edge of her vision, and strange whispers filled the air, murmuring ancient secrets that sent a chill down her spine. But Emily pressed on, guided by a sense of curiosity that bordered on obsession. She had heard the stories of the Black Forest, tales of lost souls and vengeful spirits that haunted its depths. Yet she refused to believe in such superstitions, convinced that there was nothing in the darkness that could harm her. Little did she know, the forest held secrets far darker than she could ever imagine. As Emily ventured deeper into the forest, the shadows grew thicker and the air grew colder. The trees seemed to lean in closer, their twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers, eager to ensnare the unwary traveler. With each step, the forest seemed to come alive, the whispering voices growing louder and more insistent. Emily tried to ignore them, but their words wormed their way into her mind, filling her with a sense of dread that she could not shake. Suddenly, she stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight, the trees parting to reveal a sight that chilled her to the bone. In the center of the clearing stood a circle of ancient stones, their surfaces etched with symbols that seemed to pulse with malevolent energy. As Emily approached the stone circle, a feeling of unease washed over her, and she hesitated, unsure of what lay within. But the forest seemed to urge her forward, its whispers growing louder and more urgent with each passing moment. With trembling hands, Emily stepped into the circle, her heart pounding in her chest. Instantly, the air grew thick with a sense of foreboding, and the stones seemed to come alive with an otherworldly glow. And then from the shadows emerged a figure cloaked in darkness, its eyes burning with a hunger that sent shivers down Emily's spine. She tried to flee, but it was too late. The forest had claimed her soul as its own. As the darkness enveloped her, Emily knew that she would never escape the clutches of the Black Forest, for in its depths, time stood still, and the boundaries between reality and nightmare blurred into oblivion. And so, the tale of terror in the Black Forest continues, its secrets buried deep within its ancient heart, waiting to ensnare the unwary and claim their souls for eternity.